What are you targeting, like, to?
Now, you see, the clinical legal education, I did not talk about in the traditional mode internship, because internship is very important. Now, the syllabus, the 4 papers which you will find in the under the rules of the Bar Council of India relating to legal education, they talk about the internship. They expect each student to go and attend court and maintain a court diary. And apart from that, they expect that the students under the legal ethics would go and attend the disciplinary proceedings held under the Bar Council of India under the legal ethics and attend at least 10 proceedings. Now, this is what roughly is the syllabus of the Bar Council of India relating to clinical legal education. But as I said, there is absence, total absence of literature on this, except that a book that I authored, and now I take up this suggestion for putting some component of it online. Thank you.
Yes.
Hello, this is Ajay Yadav. I also work as a consulting editor with Lex Fitness, the law magazine. My question is addressed to General Saab. First, I would like to add to what Professor Saab from Switzerland said. There's a Hindi saying which says, "Karat karat abhyas ke jalmati hot sujan, rasri avat jaatte sil par parat nisan." So practice makes you perfect. So if you practice more, because the senior advocate has reached that position after practicing for such a long time, to have that skill set, you'll have to dive down, as Chopra Saab said. So my question to Professor Saab is that, sir, we see a lot of law colleges are coming up in the country, and there's been an explosion of law colleges. My question is about the demand and supply scenario of such a situation. Is there such a huge demand for lawyers in the country, or we are just trying to tap the dreams of the middle class?
I really don't know whether I'm qualified to answer this. But what I would say, limited to my experience with the Amity Law School, I find that there are minimum 10 applicants for each seat that we have. And if you look at some of the prestigious, well-known law colleges, you see the national law schools, or I talk about Delhi University, Allahabad, Banaras, or in the private domain, you talk of Symbiosis, ILS. So these institutions, they definitely have earned a name, and there is a huge demand insofar as admission in this. But I agree with you that there is a proliferation of law schools and colleges, and right at the start I said that according to the directory of the Bar Council of India, there are more than 950 law colleges in India.
Yes. May I? Yeah, please. Statistics are not at my fingertips, but I think you would be aware of them as a publication. A population of 1.2 billion people, how many lawyers and judges do we have per thousand or per million? We are woefully deficient. There are tens of millions of cases that have been pending in our court system, in our legal system for decades. It is disgraceful. We need more judges. The government is not appointing judges. Your courts are backed up. Okay, and the legal system is concentrated in the metros or district headquarters. So if a farmer in a remote village wants to get justice, that person is going to give up before he even starts, because the very access to legal remedies is impossible for this guy. So, I mean, if anything, I mean, you as a publisher, you know, and everybody who's sitting here who has an influence either at government or bureaucratic levels or any level whatsoever, there needs to be a move, a very, very solid move to, to rectify these faults. You rectify these faults and the demand-supply gap is negative. You need more. You need far more legal students than you have at present.
So maybe I can just add something from the European perspective, because
In Switzerland, we have about 8 law schools, and that makes 10,000 law students for Switzerland, and you can imagine what that gives in terms of attorneys. And we have 7 million people, and every law student which comes out of the university finds a job. So even in a country where the proportion is very good, because we have enough lawyers, we still don't have enough because they all find a job immediately or nearly immediately.
So, Bettina, they all work in Switzerland or it's all over Europe? You mean?
Most of them find their job in Switzerland because, of course, in Switzerland we don't have any unemployment. We have a 3% of unemployment, which is ridiculous in comparison to other European countries. But even in Germany, when I started my law education, I can remember that everybody told me, oh, you know, there are so many law students, you won't find a job, and that's not really a good thing. Do something else, become a teacher, or I don't know what. And it was very easy because finally you always need good lawyers, and so then we come back
I
to
have
the
a
legal
question.
education,
Yeah, thank you. I have a
item.
question for both of them. Is this because of there is a standardized like law course there, so everybody has this in India? I think because of this whole National Law School and other colleges, maybe that's where the difference comes in when it gets to job. The better law firms or top law firms will always go. Usually, it goes for them. So how do you think that can be? Do you think a standard can help this situation of employment here?
And so far as the job opportunities, placements, etc. is concerned, we found that it's useful that we ask the option right at the start from the students. But of course, that may undergo a change. It does during the passage of 5 years. And there are opportunities now because during the internship, say for instance, students go to the media. Number of my students have been picked up by media houses. They are in litigation on their own. They've joined corporate law houses. They are going in for judiciary exams, for the armed forces, private sector, these in-house consuls. So there is a wide variety, law publishing. So there is a huge difference, huge range to pick up from insofar as the law students are concerned.
Hello, sir. I'm a student. I just want to say one thing. This is not a question and it's open to everyone. Don't you think that the system of legal education is now turning into a profit organization in which we have 1.2 billion population, we have so many students, the universities are coming up, but we don't have such much criteria set for the qualification standards. Like everyone is just entering the colleges and all such thing to get a degree. But what about later thing? The university system is now turning into a profit organization. The universities are set up, there is no standard council set. The bar council just sets the subject status. We have NGC and all such things to set. But I still feel that there is some lacking.
Yes, please sit down. I would say that firstly, you see, under the law, the statute, the advocates, it's the responsibility of the Bar Council of India as of now to regulate legal education. But having said that, there is still autonomy for the universities. To illustrate, say in my case, Amity University insists that each student has to pick up one foreign language in the 5 years law education. So you got to pick up from either German or French, and we now have Chinese, three foreign languages. So each student otherwise there is an option of Hindi. So they got to pick up one of the foreign languages, and at the end of 5 years, he would be able to talk to a client should there be a need in the language. He is not required to sort of write literature in that language, but at least he would get working knowledge to talk to, correspond, and gain confidence of a client. Now, this I'm trying to show the autonomy which the university has apart from the syllabus that has been prescribed by the Bar Council of India. Then the UGC, University Grants Commission, according to them, the study of environmental studies or environmental law is compulsory. So there is one paper on environmental law, that's because of the UGC. Now, apart from that, yes, since the higher education is now open for private sector, so the motive of profit making, yes, definitely it's there, but ultimately it is the good law schools, the quality. And what's a good law school? The definition is where the students are good, they are competent, they are respected. So it is the good law school that would ultimately prevail.
Yes, no. Yes, we're running. What we'll do is like three of you. I think I see three hands. You all can all three place the questions, and accordingly we can close the session. And yes, you can after that in the same
I just
session.
want to ask you a question, in fact. No, go ahead. You.
Yes, please
All
go
right.
ahead one minute, and then we can.
Well,
have
what
a-
makes for a great education? What are the elements that make for a great education? Sorry? No, I mean, the student is there. He's come there for acquiring a great education. So there's some elements that have to be provided to the student so the student can get a great education. What are those elements?
I'll answer to that.
Sorry?
A motivated student, a motivated teacher, and a good infrastructure, and that's all.
A good
if
infrastructure.
you do not have one of the three, then the legal education will not go anywhere.
Okay,
I
so you
just
need
wanna
the best teachers? You need the best teachers that you can
I
possibly
said
get?
motivated teachers who might not be the best, but who are motivated to teach the students. I've seen
If I can just
teachers
add a one
who
thing.
are teachers who've done their LLMs but can't teach and they're employed by law schools. There are students who are doing legal education who want to study law just because lawyers are earning more. So we have a lot of supply, but the demand isn't there.
I
I'll say
just
about the
wanna-
backlog. The backlog is more because you see a lot of cases filed by lawyers. The backlog is from the judiciary. Now, why not lawyers going to the judiciary is because judiciary gets paid less than the lawyers. So lawyers are paid more. But what are these lawyers? Who are these lawyers? These lawyers are the best lawyers in the country. And I'm surprised. I'm product of Amity and I'm very happy that Mr. General Singh is sitting and I can speak German also. But 2009, when I graduated, there were 650 law schools. I'm absolutely shocked and surprised at 950 law schools in the last 4 years. I can't name any of the one.
I'm
law school.
sorry. I'm
I
really sorry. I
It's
understand.
about legal education. Let
Yes.
a lawyer speak. Let a
Yes.
student who's come.
Yes, yes.
Who's gone practice.
I mean, we are little
been there.
running short of time, and I'm sure after this we'll have they'll be here, and there's a lunch break after this next panel, and you all can have all your questions here, or maybe later we can have an open forum. I'm sorry to cut it short. So I would like to thank all the panelists here and everybody who participated. Thanks once again for this, and they'll be open to later any kind of question. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next session will be Women Empowerment in India, and I'll invite Mrs. Nirmala Sawant Prabhakar. She is National Commission for Women. Ms. Chitra Desai, lawyer, Supreme Court, and Bettina Kahil, Professor and Dean, and Lata Krishnamurthy, partner, Ram Jetmalani Law Chamber. So I request all the panelists to please come on.